Well, here we are again with another Nomos watch that I love. This is the new Nomos Club Campus 36mm in Endless Blue, and this is the Nomos Club Campus 38mm in Nonstop Red, just released today. And, of course, I love these. Bold colors, great specifications, one of my favorite watch brands. What's not to love? If you're new here, hi, my name is Brittany, and this channel is completely dedicated to the beauty and awesomeness of timepieces. I'm at the beginning of a cold right now, so if you see my nose steadily getting more pink or like white residue ending up on me, it's probably just from my tissue. Ugh. It's been a while since I've done an out-and-out watch review. I've been doing a lot of listicles and experimenting with tier lists. But these style videos, actually reviewing a watch, being hands-on, are my favorite style of videos to make. The only problem is supply. Getting enough new and exciting watches in, and watches I'm excited to share with you guys, you know? But these watches, these Nomos watches we have in today, I'm so excited to share. So if you're not as familiar with the Club Campus, these are kind of the entry point into the brand. These are the least complicated and most fun watches Nomos has in their catalog. I personally have the Club Campus 36 in deep pink, and there hasn't been another color I've been tempted by until seeing the Endless Blue. Let's first talk about the specifications. So we have two sizes here. Looking at the smaller of the two, my calipers measure the 36mm as bang on 36mm, a thickness of 8.2mm, and a lug-to-lug of 46.5mm. With Nomos, you always have to consider the lug-to-lug measurement, as they famously have long lugs, which makes their watches wear larger than the specifications might initially sound. So here's the 36mm on my 5.5-inch wrist versus my husband's 7-inch wrist. Honestly, this one looks perfect on both of our wrists, right in place. I slightly prefer it on his wrist. I think there's just the right amount of strap showing, just the right proportions if you prefer a more classical sizing. Now, looking at the Nonstop Red, this one has a case size of 38.5mm, a thickness of 8.2mm, and a lug-to-lug of 48.3mm. On the wrist, I'd say this one is ultimately too large for me. I can almost pull it off, but I think the 36mm is so much better for me and a smaller wrist. But here it is on my husband's 7-inch wrist, and I think it, once again, looks perfect on him. It looks just right. I would recommend the 36mm if you have a wrist circumference of 6.5 inches and below, and the 38.5mm if you have a wrist circumference above that. But it all depends on your personal style and how you like your watches to wear. Aside from their dimensions, all specifications are the same with these two, with a stainless steel case material, 100 meters of water resistance, and they both house the same movement, the Nomos Alpha Caliber, which is manual winding with 43 hours of power reserve. I always struggle to find something negative to say about Nomos in the specifications department, because they offer so much. I don't know how you can be critical of these. They have all the markers I'm looking for, great water resistance, stainless steel, which is an ideal material for a go anywhere, do anything, harder wearing watch. And on top of that, Nomos pushes it to the next level with their in-house calibers. So if you're newer to the watch collecting obsession, when it comes to movements, there are really two routes. A brand can buy an Bosch or an off-the-shelf movement from a movement-making supplier like ETA or Solita. The watch brand can then finish them or decorate them further in-house, but they didn't actually make the movement. There is nothing wrong with this. Even revered maisons like Patek Philippe used Le Monnier-based calibers until relatively recently. So there's off-the-shelf movements, but then there's in-house or manufacturer calibers, which is when a watch brand doesn't rely on a third-party movement maker and chooses to bring it in-house. They do it themselves. I had the pleasure of visiting Nomos' movement-making facilities back in September, and it was just incredible. It gave me a whole new reverence for Nomos and what they're doing. I think we get so used to watching watch reviewers like me throw around the words in-house or manufacturer caliber all willy-nilly that we forget how big it is for me to actually see it, to see how they turn a raw material into the beating heart of a timepiece. It truly reminded me why I fell in love with watches in the first place. Incredible stuff. Okay. It's time to stop gushing about Nomos and their movements, Brittany. Back on track with these new releases. The big news with these is, of course, the color. I would describe these as bold, almost shocking. I remember when I first opened the box that these were delivered to me in, this was my face. This was my reaction to seeing these for the first time. These are extremely bold and a very strong contender for the perfect summer watch. Hey guys, Editing Brit here. I'm sorry I look awful. I did get a cold. I'm very sick right now, but I needed to come on here and say this. I don't know how I didn't make this comparison earlier in this video. I don't know how I didn't see these and immediately think this, but these are like the thinking man's Oyster Perpetuals, namely the Tiffany blue and the coral red. The colors are quite comparable, but they're just a little bit more fun. They're a little bit more quirky, different out there. Just a bit more personality to them. This would scratch the Tiffany blue itch that I have, because I still can't even get on the freaking list. This brings me to one of my favorite things about Nomos as a brand. They are masters of color. They know how and when to use a bold color and how to do it well. These new drops are otherwise the same as the pre-existing Club Campus models, just in bright new colors. The Club Campus line is my favorite in their catalog. I feel like it has the most mass appeal, feeling a little bit less German Bauhaus than other models like, say, the Tanganta, but still has that Nomos DNA. These are quirky, yet classical, with fun color pops, California dial, or the top half of the numbers are Arabic numerals, while the lower half are Roman, and a minute track along the outer ring of the dial. But this does bring me to one of the two complaints I have. Complaint number one is only really relevant to the Endless Red, and that is the seconds hand doesn't stand out enough against the similar color dial. Now, I understand why Nomos did this. Every Club Campus has a bright orange seconds hand, so it's keeping it on brand. But I think it would be so much cooler if they made it pop that little bit more with a white seconds hand, or if they were feeling really daring, using the endless blue color, like inverted the endless blue colorway. It'd be cool. And complaint number two is the strap. Aesthetically, I really like it. I think it works well with the colors. It has a nice subdued velvet gray, but the material is vegan leather. Now, I completely see why they chose this material, and I believe the future really is vegan products and not animal products. But man, I love leather and suede so much, and nothing can replicate that feeling. I'm not sure if this is a switch that they will be making on all of their Club Campus models. As of the time of filming this, the model that I have is still listed as on the velour strap, the velour leather strap on the website. But for me personally, I really prefer a proper leather strap. I'm not sure if that makes me sound like a Bond villain. Get me a watch made of the horn of the very last black rhino. But to be fair, the straps are really easy to swap out. To end, here's just some of my final thoughts. I am such a big fan of Nomos. I can never be fully objective when reviewing their timepieces. I feel like the design, their sensibilities, just speak to me. And of course, I own a Club Campus, so there's no way for me to be unbiased when reviewing these new models. I've said it once and I'll say it again, Nomos offers way too much for the price point. So these retail for £1,300 for the 36mm and £1,400 for the 38.5mm, and I can't think of another brand that offers so much for the price. A luxury timepiece with an in-house movement and unique and distinct design language. I don't know. I don't think there's another brand I can think of that's offering that for £1,000. If I was in the market to buy a club, it would be the Endless Blue, all day, every day, baby. And these have just given me all the vibes I needed right now. I live in grey, rainy England. I needed something that felt like cotton candy, summertime, jumping into a lake, you know? But that's just me. I'd love to know all your thoughts, feelings, everything on these new Nomos offerings. Let me know in those comments down below. Subscribe if you haven't already. And now we're going to thank the fabulous, gorgeous, wonderful Pope tier patrons. Oh, hello there, Pope tier patrons. It's me, Britt Pierce, but handheld. I just wanted to thank you guys for supporting my weird little channel. I can't believe there are other people who love watches as much as me and want to watch my opinions and thoughts and everything. So thank you so much for supporting my weird little channel. You guys really keep the lights on here at Gringa HQ. You're the best. You've never done anything wrong in your lives ever. In fact, no Gringa patrons have. Thanks, guys. Bye.